Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the MagneZOne. I'm Cossack11, and with me, as always, is Clutch,
Hey, what's up, guys?
Sam,
Hey,
and Emerson.
Hey, what's up?
So we've got a pretty good lineup of topics today. We're going to be starting kind of like sub-series within the series, dealing with team archetypes and how they're built in draft. And we also have the divisional playoff race update for the RDL and the All-Star voting update for the RDL, and then our Mon of the Week, which will be revealed at the time that I announce Mon of the Week. So, our team archetype series, we're starting with the most vanilla of vanilla team comps, which is balance. Balance is, well, it's balanced. It's the Mario of team comps. Not too much in defense, but not too much in offense. Now, usually with balance teams, you do edge one way or the other. It's usually like balance offense or balance defense. And I think, at least judging by our league, using our league as kind of the template, balance does tend to be more. Yeah, it tends to be the more successful archetype in draft, mainly because of the fact that it can do a lot of different things and wear a lot of different hats. It's tougher to plan for a balanced team than it is for other teams. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the roles that usually go into a balanced team, and we're going to talk about different tiers of mons that can fill those roles, and maybe what roles you want filled by higher tier mons. So, Clutch, what would you say are the primary roles that you want to fill on a balanced team?
Oh gosh, I personally, I'm more an offensive balanced player, but I think when you're building balance, you want to have things that can function in multiple spots on a draft team. So like, I think one of the more staples of balance on draft is like Shaman, because Shaman can do those things that you need it to offensively. You can run it spec, scarf, just life orb, but you can also be like a decent sub seeder in the same time. So like,
Yeah.
I think just acquiring pieces that can fill many things and be active defensively on your roster might help you with that.
So we talked about it last week. We talked about Mew as our Mon of the Week. I think Mew probably is maybe not a staple necessarily, but certainly worth considering for a balanced team for a high tier pick.
I think the Pixies just in general.
Well, yeah,
the
Pixie, yeah,
staple balance Pokemon.
Well, because you
because of their stat distribution.
Right. It makes them very versatile. Jirachi, I think, is probably one of the best balance mons out there. Because
I absolutely would agree. I just got on facing a Jirachi team in the playoffs of the league. Absolutely, just blew me away because it's so successful.
Yeah.
In anything it can do.
Well, and because Jirachi can be a cleric, it can be a wall breaker, it can be defensive. It's got a good move pool. It's got
a great move pool for utility. Got a great offensive move pool. It's got fantastic coverage.
And it's got
good Serene Grace, which is one of the best abilities.
And it's got good defensive typing as well. Like Steel Psychic is
a bulky steel. Ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and so
not just a bulky steel, but a fast bulky steel type.
Yeah,
you can get the Steelix or any good bulky steel, but speed's generally against them, unlike with Jirachi.
And I think that's a big deal as well.
Yeah.
One of your things that you want in balance, and that is something that's speedy and versatile.
Right.
Especially in draft. And I think that one of the things I draw attention to is that building a balanced team in draft is fairly different than building a balanced team for ladder.
Yes.
And the reason that Pixies function so well is not just because of their even stat distribution, but specifically because of their speed.
Yes.
People who are used to building ladder teams that are balanced often will tend towards things that have both offensive and defensive utility, but will pay sometimes a little bit less attention to individual speed tiers.
which are much more important in Draft League.
Much more. I mean, one example for me is that I'm used to running balanced offense in ladder play, and when I came into this draft, this is my first season. I drafted Heatran because I liked it as both a defensive and an offensive piece.
It was a great piece on balance, just in general.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And I think that the only thing that I regret about it is that I wish that I had done a little bit more to like add speed control around it. Because when you have these versatile mons, it's important that they be able to function in like an offensive or a wall breaker role. Because if they're too slow and if they're easily revenge killed, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I think at least as far as a staple move, you probably want maybe at least one T-Waver on your team for balance for that speed control. I think. Yeah. T-Wave. I think. Yeah. Well, I mean, T-Wave, U-turn, Volt Switch. These are all workhorse moves for balanced teams because you want to be able to keep knock off also for getting Scarf users out of your way, knocking down that. It's all about that. It's all about. I think even more than most other archetypes, it's about speed control because. Taking advantage of the fact that your mons overall are going to be probably at least towards the upper edge of the middle of the speed tiers. If you can, all it's going to take is like one paralysis placed well, or knocking the Scarf off of a Scarf user, and that can just shift the whole momentum. And
Healing Wish I think is great on balance.
Yep.
Because you can have something that's super. You can have something like, oh man, my best sweeper is super low, and that could be like feeling really great about this, and you unload this Healing Wish, and their entire game just flips.
Yeah.
Right back into your favor.
And so I might take things in another direction as well. Like I think another strategy for balanced offense that I think Emerson could actually comment on fairly well is that a lot of people will play balance with kind of a defensive back foot is what I would call it. Like for Emerson, like you have Mega Venusaur and Porygon 2, and those are excellent defensive mons to like. You can surround those with hitters and wall breakers and sweepers and everything, like things that do damage. And if you want to kill the opponent's momentum, those things are sponges.
Oh, 100%. The whole reason I won I think it was the week 4 match against Chargebugs was just because he brought an entirely offensive team, and all I had to do was outlast him until he got confused, until he got paralyzed. I just brought paralysis and just hang in there with Porygon 2 until something hits himself with confusion or gets paralyzed, then go for an attack, then recover off the damage, and repeat. Porygon 2 has probably been the MVP of my team this league. He's gotten very few kills, but he's got crazy bulk, especially with the EV Light, and even his offense is still very, very good. Generally, I find it best to play defensive over offensive. I'm not great with offense. I'm a lot better at building a wall or building a defense. But having a great defense is definitely it's a lot harder to break a good defense than just a powerful offense.
Right.
I think you definitely have that. I think if you build with your first couple picks a good defensive backbone, it's hard to break, and you can just run the rest of your picks into your offense.
Well, and I think it
hard for them to.
I think the defensive mons that you select for those particular roles are also important because, frankly, there's certain defensive mons that are great defensive mons. They're not good for balanced teams, though. And, I'm thinking specifically Blissey, Chansey. They're good for.
They're pure clerics, though. They do one thing.
Or they're hazard setters. That's what I've been using my Chansey is. Yeah, that's the problem. And once they're like tricked, or if they get a setup sweeper in front of them, you're looking at an uphill battle, and because the whole point of your defensive mons is to kill their momentum and allow you to springboard. Chansey and Blissey don't really do that very well. I think if we're
sponges,
right, if we're looking at good mons, Mega Venusaur was already mentioned. Jirachi is actually probably a good pick for that. We mentioned Jirachi.
I've got another
I
one.
think Celesteela, I think might be
Yeah,
up there.
Oh, yeah.
Celesteela is a really good one.
I think that, and
I
I can speak for this because this is one of my teammates, but I think that Rotom Wash is actually a really solid pick for balance
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Oh yes.
It's
Yeah.
slow,
I
but
think the best balance pivot.
yeah, it
But-
pivots,
like,
it burns
80,
stuff, it gets
90.
Thunderwave.
Yeah.
What's its speed? 78, 89, 87, something like that.
86.
It's
Yeah,
not bad.
it's
It's not bad speed
right.
tiering. Like
It's-
speed tier wise.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And so I've had advantage over a lot of teams where it's like, man, I can run a Rotom set and I can pivot out of most things. Like it didn't really come to fruition with Adam's team this week, but my game plan with that was to just run with Rotom, use it to pivot, use it to defog, use it to burn his big threats, and
Yeah.
it would function well in that
Right.
role. In fact, it functioned great. In fact, it hit 2 of 3 Will-O-Wisps.
Yeah.
And missed the one I really needed to hit.
Yeah. And another mon I think also fulfills a very good defensive backbone role is Gliscor. Gliscor is a really good pick for that.
It's one of the best Swiss Army knives in the format. I think it's up there with like Arcanine.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Swiss Army knife wise.
Yeah.
Arcanine's so dynamic. It doesn't do a lot great, but it does everything pretty well.
Yeah. I would say a budget defensive pivot that you could use if you're looking for a low tier one would be Electros, because it's got good coverage moves. It's pure electric with levitate, so it doesn't really have any weaknesses.
I think a bulky electric is really just a good
bulky
pick.
electrics in general are good for defensive backbones because there's not a lot that can deal with a bulky electric
They're generally
effectively.
pretty hard to come by, though. There aren't many bulky electrics.
Right.
Yeah, for
Regular
sure.
Ampharos. Just regular Ampharos is actually fairly bulky.
Yeah, it is, and I was actually considering it for my team. Back when I had free agent picks, but.
And I think
I
that
think it looks fabulous as Manectric, as it's not Manectric, as it's Mega.
I mean, yeah.
Because of the hair and all that. But,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
it does do its job very well, and it's pretty dang bulky. I think it's 105 base HP off the top of my head.
Something like that.
it's pretty good.
It's pretty.
And yeah, I think that those slow electric mons are that have a little bit of bulk to them, things like Electros and things like Ampharos. I think people underestimate the value of a slow pivot or
Right.
like a slow volt switch, things like that in this
Free revenge
format.
kill.
It's a free revenge kill. And to be honest, like when you're prepping for another team, when you're looking at their list of threats and coming up with a game plan for each of those, oftentimes a lot of people look at something and say, well, I can hit it on the switch and to hit KO, so I'm fine. They don't always account for the fact that they can be revenge killed, or that they can they don't always have a plan for something that got in for free.
Right.
And things and I think that one of the things is just like with Electros, it's like you can run an assault vest set, and if your opponent has like an unfair skew towards special attackers, that thing is going to be able to pivot all day so long as there's not a ground type in sight.
Yeah. Well, even if there is a ground type,
think
because it has
Omega-
levitate.
Yeah, I'm just saying like it wouldn't be able to volt switch.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It wouldn't be able to volt switch off the ground type. You're right. Yeah. Well, and that like honestly, if you were building a balanced team for draft and say you spent most of your high tier picks picking offensive mons, if you want that defensive backbone on a budget, I think it was it's one of the 3 lake mons. I can't remember what its name is. Mesprit. Yeah, Mesprit and the Electros are a very good Mesprit and Electros, or Mesprit and Ampharos, yes. Very good Volt Turn core, and they both can be built bulky. And
Mesprit can be really good offensively too.
Yeah, exactly. It has that utility, it has that flexibility that you want, but you can you have your options there. I also think
like
a
a
good
lot of 105s and 80 speed tier.
I think
solid.
I think a decent defensive mon for balance. Ferrothorn actually is pretty good for balance. It's one of the few mons that's as slow as it is that I would say that for. Because like I would even say Mega Aggron, despite how much we gushed over it, isn't a balance mon. It's a bulky offense mon. It's not a balance mon. But I think Ferrothorn could work on a balance team.
Yeah, I think it fits into the category of, I was talking about defensive back foot, like things like Porygon. It doesn't have the easy recovery. I mean, it gets Leech Seed, right?
Yeah, it does get Leech Seed.
I mean, it's just this nice thing that it sponges so many hits.
Yeah, it does.
And the fact that it forces your opponent to bring something to hit it super effectively,
right,
is just such an advantage out of the gate. When you look at a team with Ferrothorn, you think to yourself, like, if I don't have something to beat this, it's going to wall me to hell.
Yes. And like having run Ferrothorn before, they not only have to respect the fact that it can wall their team, but they have to respect the fact that anything that it hits super effectively, or even things it doesn't necessarily hit super effectively but hits neutrally, they need to switch out of it. Like, there are mons that are threatened offensively by Ferrothorn because it hits so hard and can afford to tank the hit that it's going to require to get its shot off.
Yo, Choice Band Ferrothorn is a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, you gotta it's a force to be reckoned with.
It beats fairies.
Yeah.
It beats the Tapus.
Mm-hmm.
Choice Band, Gyro Ball for Ferrothorn.
And it massacres bulky waters.
Yep.
So, like,
as long as you don't get burned.
Well, yeah. Well, but even then, like, Leech Seed and Power Whip until the cows come home.
True.
I mean, it's still gonna...
I think being biased is the coach of this mon. I think the Uniclus can function great on balance because it can do so many things.
Right. Yeah, I think Reuniclus is also a good option. We talked a little bit about this mon before the show, Musharna.
Yep.
Can function
that budget bulky psychic type.
Yeah, it's budget bulk.
Swine is really good. Swine.
I would say Cresselia is a good pick too for a defensive backbone.
I mean, it's a good defensive backbone, but I think it's kind of passive for balance.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess it is a little too. It's like right on the edge. I think if you have no other options, then maybe. But I still think you're better served picking an offensive mon in that high tier slot and then just going for a budget defensive core, because like you've got other options, and there's a lot of good enough bulk for a balanced team in the lower tiers, in the mid to low tiers.
For sure, but in a draft league format, at least in our league, Cresselia, which of course is better than Musharna, but that's a tier 2, whereas Musharna is a nice tier 5 pickup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. It's where you and that's usually where it ends up. Whether a team ends up more slightly defensive balance or offensive balance it usually comes down to what they spent their high tier slots on. Did they go more for the offense? Did they pick stuff up like Keldeo is pretty good on balance? Did they pick up, like, for their Mega, did they pick up like Mega Charizard X would be a pretty good balance mon? I would say if you're gonna, for Megas, I think let me flip through Megas real quick. I think Mega Venusaur, yeah, we talked about that one.
Mega Ampharos could be good on balance.
Yeah, it's also a good budget Mega too, because that'll give you a pretty solid.
You need the points.
Yeah, if you need the points. I would say
Mega Pinsir does like a lot of setups.
Yeah, Mega Pinsir would be pretty good. Either of the Mega Lattes would be pretty good for a balanced team.
Okay, both those are pretty.
Well, that's because the Mega Lattes are good on any team.
True. It's kind of similar like Mega Mawile. Like that's a broken Pokemon.
Well, that's why Mega Mawile is banned in our league.
Banned in most leagues. Mega Kanga.
I'm surprised they banned Mega Mawile Wild Mega Kang, but not the Lotties. Generally, those go together.
Yeah.
No, they do, but I think
Well, I think the reason that the Mega Lotties have stayed is because the regular Lotties can actually kill their Mega counterparts.
Oh, for sure. I think Soul Dew generally is probably a better item than the Megastone on both of them more often than
Soul
not.
Dew got with the Soul Dew nerf, it makes it so much easier. It's a lot easier. It's only 1 point change to like a free choice specs.
Yeah. You're usually better. I would say, like, obviously in laddering, you're probably better served with choice specs. Although Soul Dew can be useful if you don't want the Life Orb chip damage going against you, but you still want that powered up.
If you're just playing on your stabs at least.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why the Lotties are so good though, is they have a lot of item options depending on what you're running up against.
Yeah.
So. And again, the Lotties are just good in general for your balance team. So, Lando T is a really good balance mon.
Yeah.
But that's because Lando T is just good on every team.
Yeah, Lando T is good on every team.
It's the Swiss Army knife of anything. It can do literally. I need it to this big league. All right, I got you.
Yeah.
It has just great natural roll because it's the speed tier. It can run on both sides. It's like 145 physical attack, but also has 105 special attack.
Right.
Something a lot of people overlook.
Yeah, I think of the Tapus, I think the best suited for balance would be Feeny.
I think Blue is pretty unbalanced as well.
Bulu's pretty unbalanced, but yeah, so Bulu or Feeny. I think Feeny has a slight edge for a balanced team, but I guess
I think Coco definitely has a hard time running a defensive set.
Well,
I mean, you can run Iron. You could run Iron Defense Coco.
Well, if you're running Coco on a balanced team, though, you're probably running it as as an offensive mon with other mons as pivots. Like, you can still run Coco on your balanced team. It's not like we're saying you shouldn't pick mons like Tapu Coco. It's just
but like staples of balance is like versatile mons.
Yeah, the whole idea of balance is flexibility. And you lose a lot of flexibility when you pick something like Tapu Koko.
Yeah.
Coco is... Wait, hold on. Don't you dare say Coco is not flexible, because Coco can do it quite a lot.
Yeah, as it can do physical or special, and it gets U-turn and Volt Turn.
But I guess more what I meant is it's not going to be able to... it can... If you really want to run a weird set, go on defense, but most people are going to...
Yeah.
Most people are going to know what have a general idea of what your Coco's role on the team is.
You emphasize his damage output.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I think that the takeaway from this as well is that not every mon on a balanced team has to be flexible.
Right.
At the back, you should have a couple things like a Coco or a Bulu that can just hammer something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that's one of the things Volcanion, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you have those things at the back. Once again, this didn't end up working out for me as big this week, but I ran Choice Band Bulu this week, and it's just one of those things where you click Woodhammer, and even things that resist it in grassy terrain, it just doesn't. I mean, it did I think it did I'd say 70% to an Alolan Muck on the last turn.
Oh my gosh.
It was just just massive damage.
Yeah.
I ran Banded Terrakion for a bit.
Oh, it's so fun.
Well, that's something else. That's something else to consider for your offensive team, or not offensive, for your balanced team. Because when you're running a balanced team, having a couple mons that are I think you definitely, even if it means losing a little bit of flexibility, having one really solid wall breaker, at least, like some
Kieran Black.
Yeah, Kieran Black.
A Kieran Black, a Tapu Koko, a Latios. Because
guaranteed you will need it, because one of the most common ways to stop a balanced team is to wall it.
Yeah, and I think the word that gets thrown around for those mons is enforcers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, or the goon
yeah,
squad.
You want something to keep your opponent honest, and you want something. To me, I always think of them as I always want a hole puncher. I want something that I can bring in that's going to put a hole in the opponent's bulkiest mon. It used to be running in 5th gen running ladder. Banded Terrakion did that for me.
Yeah.
On a balanced team, like in a lower tier spot, you can run banded Rockhead Tyrantrum with Head Smash. Is like, show me the switch in.
Yeah, that's an enforcer right there.
150 base power move where you don't take a recoil and you're not choice band.
Yeah.
Show me this.
A good budget enforcer, Beware, I think, is a pretty solid budget enforcer.
I'd say so.
It's not the
70
best.
speed is 70 speed isn't bad either.
No.
Oh,
And it
oh, 6.
yeah,
Jeez.
it can do some serious damage. I think another one, Keldeo is a good.
It's not budget.
That's not budget. Not budget. I wasn't gonna say budget, but just a good wall breaker or goon for a goon squad.
Like budgets, and I was like,
Oh no.
I was like,
Yeah. I guess I did like kind of jump back and forth a little bit there. I think if we're going back to budget though,
Kyurem, regular Kyurem.
yeah, regular Kyurem, yeah.
Hashtag vote for Kyurem.
Right.
Hashtag vote for Kyurem.
Rhyperior.
Hashtag MVP leader.
Rhyperior can work in that sort of slot.
Anything with a high attack stack can.
Right.
There.
Basically, what we're saying is just pick something up with super high attack and that can maybe take a punch or two.
Like in this Cavalier, like
Yeah.
130 attack.
Yeah.
And
135.
Throw off a Mega Horn or an Iron Head.
Yeah.
Throw off a Mega Horn off a choice band in this Cavalier. Just do it. It's fun.
And exactly, and that thing can switch in on basically anything that doesn't have
Right.
fire coverage.
Yup.
And having a Mon that scares your opponent into running HP fire on a couple things, that's
good.
That can be a free move. Depending on your matchup, that can be a free move slot that you made them sacrifice.
Right. And that could
Yeah.
break their coverage for something else on your team.
Exactly.
And great, just like big wall breakers, like lower, just in general, good fighting types are just really good.
Oh yeah.
Hariyama is super.
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's like 120 attack and off of a guts boost. And it just says, "Hey, show me the switch in. Just show me your close combat / facade switch in." I'm just looking at the megas. You can look at Mega Heracross. Look no further.
Yeah, for sure.
It's 185 attack. with
Yeah.
skill.
And another good wall breaker is Pangoro with the
Yes.
fighting dark type.
Scrappy, just that scrappy Pangoro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, base 124 attack, like that's not nothing. And it's got and it's got good offensive typing cuz fighting in dark type.
Yep.
And it's important to consider when you're looking at wall breakers. I think that some people look at the speed tier and kind of gag a little bit.
And get turned off.
Yeah, but the thing is that for a lot of these mons, especially like Hariyama and Pangoro, the thing is, like they're
wall breakers.
Exactly, they're wall breakers. You can run them to be faster than a wall, and you can run them to switch in on a wall. I mean, Hariyama especially, like something that doesn't appreciate, or sorry, it does appreciate switching in on like status effects.
Scald.
Yeah, it doesn't care if it takes a scald and gets a burn.
To be in on Scald.
Yeah. Right. And if Pangoro, what are you maybe breaking with it? Well, I mean, look at Jellicent.
Yeah, Jellicent.
Jeez. You break Jellicent hardcore with Pangoro. Pangoro is basically a hard counter to Jellicent, especially with Scrappy.
I think having a Gutsmon on a team.
Oh yeah.
Makes trying to throw off a Toxic so much more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I throw off this Toxic or I try to throw off this Spore, they can
Well,
switch in with Gutsmon and then have Space Talk, or they can just have Facade and just completely wreck.
Right. Well, I think Zangoose also works in that facility too. Because Zangoose wants to switch in on a Toxic. By all means, Toxic Zangoose will gladly take that Toxic boosted Facade.
He wants to hit. You got T-Spikes up? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the free Toxic boosted Facade. We'll be taking half your health away now, thanks.
Zangoose is so stupid. Oh my gosh.
Well, Zangoose is awkward because of its weird speed tier. But as a budget wall breaker, it is functional.
If you need a physical presence,
That's
on
just
your
a bit
team,
more
I
than
just
functional.
Yeah.
I picked up Zangoose because I needed a physical presence on my team. So
Yeah.
Zangoose, and then I got Azu, but like.
Wait, was Terrakion not enough physical presence on your team? He's enough for
So it was
2
like
teams.
It was like my only physical presence, and then you have AV Raikou. Ugh.
You've got Psyshock.
Well, look at
I
my
didn't
team.
bring-
My
Get
team's
him on that physical side.
my team's suffering from the lack of physical presence right now.
You have Haxorus and Gyarados. So I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of it. I mean, yeah. Wait. Am I talking to Cossack? Whatever.
Yeah.
So balance, definitely a strong archetype in Draft League. And it's easy to build because it's one of those archetypes that doesn't require like specific high tier mons to work properly. Because
you can do a lot with balance.
Yeah, you can you can easily build a solid team on on a budget with balance, because there's just like we listed off like half the mons we just listed off are like tiers like 3, 4, and 5. So it's very easy to build a solid balance team. And I think obviously we're going to talk about other team archetypes in the coming weeks, like hyper offense and that kind of stuff. Those archetypes, to run properly in Draft League, you need to get highly specific mons for your team to function properly.
Or things that can fill very specific roles.
Right. It's much less generalized than balance, which is why balance teams kind of ended up how the meta is for our league now. Like I would say that at least
I think a more offensively oriented balance is just what wins.
I think so
certainly
too.
doing a lot of work.
I think that the thing is, what hyper offense teams run into often, and I'd say also leaning the other way, is you get out to the further extremes of just mega offense and mega defense, or just crazy stall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Find that occasionally some of your matchups will be fantastic, where you're just like, all right, like I've got all the tools to shut this person down, or
Right.
like I've got like the team that just I've got 6 hitters that he has no answers for.
Yeah.
But then you'll run into other matches where somebody has the one or two mons that just wreck your team.
I can tell you from the bulk perspective, from the defensive perspective, if they have a setup sweeper, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's one thing. And then like for hyper offense, if they have something that can, outlast your like I said, your hitters and your setup sweepers and everything,
Right.
and say like paralyze back. If so, they've got something running like a bulky thunder wave, that
Right.
really throws a damper in. I think that the thing is that with these with balanced, what it affords you if you build correctly is a more even matchup every week.
And it affords
If you have a well-built balanced team,
it affords you leeway.
Exactly.
If you completely miscalculate on what your opponent's bringing against you, if you're running a balanced team, you could still be okay, even if you completely even if they went in a completely different direction from where you were going.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a nice, solid, balanced team to fall back on.
Team.
Right. It's a team that's going to be able to reliably stand up to pretty much every other team. And even if you lose your differential, because in a lot of cases and I think this might end up being the case for the playoff race, there's going to be points where it might come down to differential to decide who's going to make it to the playoffs. So having if you have that balanced team, it's a very good way to preserve that differential, because you're instead of getting 6-0'd, 4-0'd, you're getting 3-0'd, 2-0'd maybe. Your matches are going to be close, so your losses will be close.
Oh yeah, 3-0 me, please.
It's one of those things.
I agree.
It's got a lot of leeway and flexibility. It's especially good if you're newer to the draft format. You probably want to go balance, because
For sure, but even using our own league as a stand-in here, we can see that we got one hyper offensive and one hyper defensive team hyper defensive team is 1-10. And the hyper offensive team, which is meta, is sitting at 5-5 right now. He hasn't played the week 11 match or week 12 match, I don't believe, but because whenever he has a match he wins, it's just normally just a stomping, a power through, just because the power. But the matches he loses, he just can't break the team.
Deal with it.
Right.
Oh, for sure. Because when he came against me, he had nothing to beat P2. I don't think he brought a single mod. He brought other than Girder, but Girder got taken down. Other than that, he had no answer for Porygon 2. So I really had my duck just sit there and take everything.
Yeah. I think I faced meta in the regular season. I have to check my schedule.
Yeah, I lost to him because I didn't have a good steel type that could actually eat a hit on my roster on Kieran Black. So I just didn't have a switch into it, and then I.
Yeah, because he's LA, right? He's LA Chargebugs.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, my matchup against him is gonna be interesting.
For sure.
We'll finally see who wins in the wall versus offensive match.
We've
been waiting all season for this.
The unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Spoiler alert! I'm the immovable object. Hi. I'll be bringing all of my Stallmons. I'm just gonna bring all my walls.
That's it.
Just all walls. And Gliscor. But Gliscor is a wall, yeah.
Gliscor is kind of stall.
Yeah.
It's kind of a staple on OU stall.
Yeah,
I don't think he can trick you either, Cossack. You got a good week here because he cannot trick you, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Bring Quagsire, dude.
Oh, I'm totally bringing Quagsire.
Gourgeist, I don't think he can trick you with anything. So Chansey may be a good bet here.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't want to do too much planning on that.
You should trick him instead.
Well,
we're not recording and publishing this.
Well, okay.
Meta, if you're listening, you know what's coming.
Just
bring 5.
The bulk is coming. What are we now, cutting a WWE promo?
Yes, exactly.
The bulk is coming for you, brother. The bulkster is coming.
Jeez.
Bring on the bulkster, jabroni.
Is this our organic transition?
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Segue.
Yeah, let's talk divisional playoff race.
Oh jeez.
Hoen's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Oh man, the rematches are going to be insane.
Hoenn and Johto, I think Johto has the most intense one. Then I think Hoenn, then Kanto, and Alola.
You might say that the race in Johto is quite close. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think one team.
Hoenn's super close too.
I mean, I think Johto, there is one team that stands above the rest in one category.
No.
Oh no, I stand above the rest in losses.
There were 3 teams. I mean, true. You had 3 teams that are 5-6, and you got 1-10 Cossack.
Who is still somehow only 4 points behind. But yeah.
So wait, someone help me understand Johto real quick, because for those who can't see the numbers right now, there is a 3-way record tie at a grand, record of 5-6, right? We mentioned that already.
Yeah.
There is a 3-way tie amongst the 3, 5, and 6 in that I beat Pac beat Michael, and Michael beat me.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it just comes down to
nobody.
Yeah, and then it just comes down to it just comes down to differential, right?
Yeah.
So right now, Pac
should be differential, yes.
Yeah, Pac is in right now on differential.
Because Pac has the +2 differential.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks so bad. I thought I KO'd more than one of Adam's ones this week.
Well, we'll see though.
Apparently not.
You know what it's going to come down to? It's going to come down to how well each one of you deals with me.
No, it's also going to come down to how well we deal with each other.
Well, yeah,
that wall is going to just
too.
crush all your teams and all your dreams.
I had the
Cossack Revenge Tour.
Yeah, see, I've been talking about Cossack Revenge Tour Season 2, exactly. Cossack Revenge Tour 2018. I mean, it's coming. He's going to sweep all of us, and then it's going to come down to who of us can beat each other. We're going to try and cannibalize each other.
I mean, that's my goal. I want to turn this into just a bloody death match between the 3 of you.
I'm rooting for you to beat, everyone but me.
It's like there's three guys in the. It's like there's three guys. There's four guys in the room, and they're all trying to kill each other. Cossack's just sitting in the corner laughing.
Like I'm the Joker walking in with the
He's
pool.
selling arms to all three sides, pretty much.
I'm the Joker walking in with the pool cue and snapping it in half and just dropping it.
No, this is Ethiopian history. Like, the Ethiopians preserved their independence because they got 3 Western territories to war over them, and when they were all done fighting, they came in and took everything.
Yeah.
Cossack is literally Ethiopia. It's great.
I'll have to wait to take everything until season 3.
It's yeah, dude. Revenge tour is real. Like,
If I
hashtag Cossack revenge tour.
I'm glad though that I'm in this other league that I'm in with Clutch, because this will allow me to test a couple cores that I want to draft for season 3, and if they work out as well as I think they will, there's gonna be some
Let's snipe him.
there's gonna be some revenge going around.
Excellent. So,
Quite literally, the Gerda revenge is coming.
yeah. Hey, what other playoff races do we need to cover here?
Well, I think
Owen's super close.
Yeah, Hoenn is pretty close. Yep, we got 2 7-4 records with
Especially
Kansas City
we
and
all have to play each other
Rochester.
again, and
Yep.
both me and the Rogs are a game back of Omega.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty close. There's still an opportunity for the top slot to be stolen.
Well, I think that Clutch
no
had a serious
division.
chance of beating me because I think literally when he was getting his monster, his new team, he counter-teamed me completely because his team has a great matchup against me. In 2 weeks, I think it's our match.
Yeah.
I'll
that's played
also
out the
say
Rogs.
that
Yeah, so-
Kanto is actually, if you bother to take a look
No
at
one
Kanto,
no one is locked up yet.
no one's
nowhere
locked up
even-
for
not even
Kanto.
close.
We've got Brooklyn sitting
no
on
one's
the
locked up for Kanto.
Brooklyn's sitting at the top with an 8-3 record, with the Detroit Dracos right underneath them with a 7-4, and then right underneath them is Akron and Oregon, and they're both tied at 6-5. So it's anyone's game right now for that league. That one's also going to be like Kanto and Johto both have some really intense rematches that are going to be very important going forward.
Hoenn is gonna be insane, man.
Yeah,
Hoenn
for
is
sure.
also going to be
Yeah,
insane.
I hope Kiram can stand up to the test.
I'm
Um,
counter-teaming
avoid
just for Kiram. All because
Do
I
it.
never voted for the thing.
Alola is a little more clear cut. Neek has a pretty distinct advantage with a 9-2 record, because the Chargebugs are second place with a 5-5 record, and Chicago could pull a heartbreak here for the Chargebugs and snatch that
Oh, they could.
wild card slot right out from
Yep.
underneath them.
Yeah, I mean, it's on Nadia to beat Meta here, if
Actually-
that's going to be possible, right?
Oh yeah, she's got a good team.
I mean, that makes her chance. That would make Storm's chances better. But I
Yeah.
do
She's got a
think.
great team for this, but I think she's got a bad matchup this week.
Oh, but
Uh,
I guess, and I think the other note is that I mean,
Nope,
it's really
Yeah.
difficult for any of those teams in the Alola division to make the playoffs right now because they're going to be
Yeah.
cannibalizing
Because
each other.
Yeah,
With
And you're
Andrew and Clutch having the
you're
2
right.
wildcard spots.
because
Mhm.
both of them are 2 games back at
Yeah.
the moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
With
It-
Redstone being 2.5
like-
games
like
back
I
'cause
said,
he hasn't
Alola
played this
is-
game yet.
Alola is more clear cut
And
than the other
it's
divisions.
just so cut because
Well,
Neek has a 4-game lead on a
Neek
or is it 3.5.
Neek has been on fire this entire season.
Plus
Yep.
28. That's just absurd, though. Like his
And
differential is 15 points higher than the second highest.
His
Oh,
differential
for sure. Neek
is
is a great differential, but I think the 2 weeks that would have been a good matchup. I sad about the forfeits. 'Cause those two would have been fun matches to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
That is true. There was 2 forfeits, but that only adds 8, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you cut those to 1-0, it's still plus 20, plus 22, something like that. Assuming he would have won and stuff.
Yeah,
It's still plus 20, which is 7 points higher
yeah.
if you just take
So can't wait to see how that progresses.
Dominant
This is gonna
right
be this is gonna be a very
it's gonna be a
these
fun
next
couple
these
of
next yeah these next few
Some would
weeks.
say a commanding lead.
weeks. The next 2 weeks decide the entire the playoff picture.
Oh
right here.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I
it's
think-
gonna
yeah,
be
definitely.
it's gonna be fantastic to view. I'm definitely gonna be watching every single match replay for sure.
I miss Skarmory so much.
Hey.
Just throwing that out there.
You missed Skarmory or you missed Struggle Skarmory?
Struggle more?
Can I miss both?
Always.
So we go from one update to another update and it's the final update, I believe, for the All-Star voting.
Yes, indeed. And I don't think any of you guys know what's on this list.
Nope.
Other than
Not a clue.
other than last week, we announced the two inaugural
Yeah.
All-Stars in both conferences.
Yes.
For quick review, those were
All-Star game.
So we had
Kieran for All-Star game.
hashtag vote for Kieran. All right, so I think I'm
He's
going to
the
start.
MVP right now.
He is the MVP right now. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
He's actually been the least amount of matches, I think, of the top 5.
huh? It's interesting.
Which means his efficiency ratio is ridiculously high.
All right. Well, I'm going to go down the list here for the Sun Conference. So we tallied votes across 3 weeks of voting. I had thought there would have to be a tiebreaker for the Moon Conference, but it ended up not being necessary after the last couple votes came in. So last week in the Sun Conference, we had Rhyperior and Snorlax appointed, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
So
yes.
that's Brooklyn and that's Ohio represented right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go down the list. First off, for our tier 1s through tier, like our tier 1 through tier 3 slots, which are, kind of the open to any Pokemon. In addition to Snorlax, we have Latios from Detroit.
Yeah, I kind of figured if any of my mons were going to make it in, it
we've
was
got
gonna be
Latios in Detroit. We've got Zygarde, the snake form from Akron.
50, right?
Yeah,
Zygarde 50%.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the Indianapolis Ponytas, we've got Weavile. Or
Yeah.
Weavile, or however you pronounce that.
Knockoff.exe is loading.
Evile.
Yeah.
.exe.
Knockoff. Yeah. From the New York Clinks, we've got Tapu Bulu.
Mhm.
So my kill leader made it. I'm all right with that. And then for the last and final slot for the wild card, we have Mega Pinsir from the Detroit Dracos.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty
Alright.
accurate.
Yeah.
Well, that Mega Pinsir ruined me in the battle for
Yeah.
Detroit.
Didn't he get like 5 kills? Like,
He got
something
yeah,
ridiculous
I think
about
he
that.
did. I think that thing
Ouch.
got most of the kills because he had if I would have had Aqua Jet on Sharpedo, I would have been able to shut him down because he was on low enough health that an Aqua Jet from Sharpedo would have killed him. But he had
Gotcha.
Quick Attack and he was Swords Danced, so it one-shotted.
Ooh.
He one-shotted my
I don't think he even
Sharpedo.
Okay, Shark doesn't need a lot to be one-shotted. Just
Yeah,
listen.
I know, but Quick Attack.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
the Aerolate boost, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but Mega
Early
Pinsir.
boost. I don't
Yeah.
even
And Sharpedo.
think it needs to be boosted.
Okay, maybe not, but still, the Quick Attack took its toll on me for sure. That priority ruined me.
So, yeah, so those are the mons I just listed: Latios, Zygarde, Weavile, Tapu Bulu, Mega Pinsir. Those are the 5 that accompany Snorlax as our tier 1 through tier 3, or as our open slots. We had one tier 4 appointed last week, Rhyperior, and we have another tier 4 to round out the Sun Conference team, representing the last team in the league. We actually had perfect representation in the Sun Conference, 1 from each team.
That's cool.
Can anyone guess what this one is?
I'm going
I
to go
don't
with
know.
Tyrantrum or a Jellicent.
Jellicent, that's it.
Jellicent.
Yep.
King Jelly.
King Jelly, exactly. It pulled in the votes. I didn't even have to, to be honest, I didn't have to, we had a rule that you couldn't have more than 2 All-Stars from a single team. And this happened completely organically. We had a Mon from each team. I didn't have to, exclude any Pokemon. It was perfect.
Okay, we can stop voting for Brooklyn now.
Yeah. So that's the Sun Conference. A notable snub for that conference: 1 vote out from being appointed to the All-Star game was Milotic. We almost had 2 Brooklyn Mons in this.
Yeah,
in this All-Star game.
I am kind of sad to not
Thank
see
goodness.
not see my bulky boy Melodic, but
Yeah.
I understand.
I think that part of it also is kind of I think what Milotic was nominated by a lot of people, but I don't think we've seen it quite as much, and we haven't seen it in the same form it had in a couple of the early season games, and so
That's true. I think Snorlax is kind of on that build, the same build.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Mhm.
It's an early season threat because a lot of people don't realize it, and then you realize, crap, this Snorlax is gonna shoot me if I don't mess with it.
Yeah.
For sure. I think I actually did vote for Milotic, but from the Moon Conference, I am so happy we're not going against that thing in our All-Star battle.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I'll spoil it for you. You really don't have anything that can. I mean, I'll tease it, I guess. You don't have anything that can hit it super effectively.
But not even Krook?
I mean, can Krook hit?
With nothing other than
Yeah.
hidden power, not at all. I mean,
Hidden
not
power,
at all.
Crocodile is the new meta.
Hidden power grass Krook coming in.
Yeah,
jeez.
HP Grass Krook. Just Krook for every team.
HP Grass Krook also covers Rhyperior.
That's true.
True.
And
You better
Jellicent.
watch out, Sun
yeah.
Conference. Here comes Marv. He's mowing the lawn.
Exactly. It's nice to, I mean, the Sun Conference team, I mean, we have a bulky water there, and for Jellicent, we have Rhyperior, that's also another bulky mon. It's a really interesting distribution. I think that another thing I'll say is that I do think that the Sun Conference is just a tad bulkier than the Moon lineup, which I am about to list off.
Well, it's because it's the division that it's the conference that I'm in. Of course, it's going to be bulkier.
Fair enough. I mean, even though your bulky mons didn't quite make it, Santoro runs a lot of bulk too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wherever I go, the bulk follows, my friend.
So, all right, I'm gonna go on for it here. Even the gym, the bulk follows. Yeah.
Well, that's more true than you may think.
So, here we go for the Moon Conference. If you remember from last week, we had everyone's favorite two lizards.
Yeah.
We had Crocodile and Kecleon appointed as Moon's first 2 All-Stars. So
we basically have the Donkey Kong villains.
We have the Donkey Kong. Yes, that is exactly what we have. So, along with Crocodile joining the Moon Conference for the open slots, the next 5 are a couple ones that are no surprise to anyone: Kyurem Black and Megalodios.
Mm-hmm.
The next,
Double Dragons.
Yeah, Double Dragons. One leans more physical, of course. The other leans a little bit more special, but can run.
LOL, leans.
Yeah, I mean
170s.
Yeah.
Can attack and special attack.
Oh yeah. So and then for the last 3 slots were close. I think that there were really 5 mons that could have made these slots here. But we have the final list is Alolan Ninetales from Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it made the spot. That's actually not a bad Pokemon to have on your All-Star team, bringing the
Aurora Veil with Megalodios.
What's the
Yeah.
All-Star?
Starts out with Calm Minds.
What's the All-Star rules on Z crystals?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like we should maybe just make it like you can bring 1 Z crystal of your choice, or like 1 Z crystal from your. You could say 1 Z crystal from your conference. That would be fun.
Are we going to elect captains for Z crystals, or are we just going to go for like, hey, surprise me?
We'll have to discuss that more.
That'll be.
I think it should at least be only crystals within your
Conference.
only crystals within your division conference. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. So, and our last 2, you ready for this? So from sorry, I'm stuttering over the name here. From Kansas City Crocodiles, we have Reuniclus.
Kansas City Kingdras, although
Kansas City
Crocodile's very flattered.
Damn it! Or sorry, dang it.
Mitochondria.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes, the Kansas City Kingdras, excuse me, KCK, have Reuniclus. And our last one in the lineup is from Galesburg. It's Mimikyu.
Ah, yes.
All right.
Dude,
I'm glad-
Mimikyu came through in the clutch.
Yeah,
the
I
very
voted
end.
for Mimikyu. I'm glad it made it in.
Mimikyu accumulated like I think it got like 9 votes in the last week. It got like 1 in week 2,
Which
and
was
then
me.
and then everyone voted for it week 3. Otherwise, it wasn't going to get the slot.
Yeah.
Yo, Rip Kurum.
Yeah, Rip Curum.
Yeah.
Dude, Curum was.
Hashtag Rip Curum.
So here's the deal, dude. If Mimikyu hadn't gone on the crazy run it had, Mimikyu was 1 vote away from tying Victini for slot 8.
Oh,
It was going to be close. Like, that was going to be a tiebreaker, but it was not to be. Mimikyu went on its crazy run and snagged the last spot.
what are the full teams again? Let's go run through both of them real quick.
Okay, I actually got one more.
Okay.
So of course it's the last tier 4, tier 5 slot for Moon Conference. So we had tier 5 Kecleon who made it. Thank goodness for Keck. We all love Keck.
Lizards.
And the last slot goes to Bronzong from Kennesaw.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good choice.
Which I think,
That's bulky steel.
Yeah, exactly. It really rounds out the Moon Conference roster.
Mm-hmm. And you got a lot of options with it too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, I think it's really a great addition, and I think that I'm really happy it made it. Not I think that like it's one of the mons that, like, talking to Nadia, she's mentioned it's like at first she wasn't sold on it, but she's come around to using it, and she's actually run some really interesting sets with it. Run a couple of heat-proof sets.
Yep.
I think once by accident even.
Well, because like I know that I remember in the first couple weeks Nadia, because her team was drafted for her off of a list that she had put together, and like based off that list other picks were made, and she did say it was a little bit bulkier than what she was used to, but after trying it out she seems to be liking it.
Yeah, it doesn't hit super hard. I mean, its gyro balls can pack a punch. Certainly.
Its gyro balls need to be respected.
Bronzong like a set in Gen 4.
I don't know. It's possible,
I think it was because Explosion was busted in Gen 4.
That's true.
I think it was in Gen 4. I don't think.
Oh, for sure. I think that was the last generation where it halved your defense when it exploded.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
exactly.
right. Oh yeah.
Explosion was nuts way back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
trust me, us Nuzlockers. Oh yeah, we know all about Explosion.
We know plenty about Explosion sucking. Yeah. So
there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that really rounds out Moon really well, having Bronzong at the back as like a rock setter, as a bulky steel, exactly. And also, I mean, the other thing is that I mean, it has respectable special attack as well. I mean, I think its special attack and its physical attack are equal, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think it's 75s or something like that.
And like, if we wanted, again, I think if we wanted to say it's a good defensive backbone for a balanced team. There's a lot you can do with it. You can trick with it. You can trick room with it. You can, You can stealth rock. You can run it if you absolutely need to. You can run it physical or special.
Mm-hmm. And for against teams that are, nobody ever does this in ladder because heat proof is inferior to levitate. But against teams that don't have like strong ground coverage, but who have like a powerful fire type, running heat proof is an option.
Yes.
And also, I misspoke earlier. Bronzong has 89 attack and 79 special attack.
Yeah,
that's still not bad. That's respectable.
Explosion hits harder than you would think from that thing. Custap Berry, that thing living, and just boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think Custap Berry is legal yet, but anyway.
Oh, that's true.
It's not. Oh, I'll be darned.
And I
was planning to run that last week against Galesburg, but I did my OU like validity check. The Custap Berry can't be used. I was going to bring our Maldo, but that just didn't happen because the berry is apparently not legal for Gen 7 yet.
Hasn't been released, I don't think.
Gotcha. All right. So I'll go over the rosters one last time. These will be published tomorrow. I'll put them in Discord, and I'm hoping, time allowing tomorrow, to have a little bit of a write-up that'll probably have a paragraph or two about each of the appointees and what they are to their team and why they deserve the nomination.
Kiram got snubbed.
Yeah,
Kiram got snubbed.
Well, actually, I would have voted for Kiram, but when the document came out, it wasn't on the list. I forgot about it. I was picked the 5 that I thought were best on there and sent it in, and it's like, oh, by the way, Kiram is not on there, so you can write it in. It's like, shoot. So, yeah, I did forget about Kiram, but
I thought
Hashtag
I
mindset.
thought you guys were gonna vote for Kyurem, so I didn't vote for Kyurem because I wanted other Pokemon.
Wow,
to have a
okay,
chance.
I voted for
that's
Kieran Black.
You see that bus coming? I'm about to chuck you underneath it. So
legitimately, like it is one below all kill leaders with 14 kills. And
yeah.
Friendship ended
To
with
3
Tom's
deaths.
back.
Its supremacy on the chart is fairly recent.
Yeah,
It's true. It has been just been
Yeah.
hot recently.
Yeah, I think
Alright.
it just barely
Let's
missed the boat is what happened. Like
Mhm.
if it had
Yeah.
started climbing that chart like last week or the week
Yeah.
before, it probably would have windmill slammed a slot.
Yeah. If
It's
we had
the
been running
country
4 weeks of voting,
Yeah, if we were running 4 weeks of voting, I think that Kyurem would maybe have
Mhm.
picked up one
Well,
of the
Its last
slots.
its last 3 games, it's 9-0.
yeah, jeez. It just a little bit it's put in work, but it's been just a little
Yeah,
bit late
it's
in
too
terms
late.
of like
Fired.
snagging the votes.
Always a
Yo,
bridesmaid,
okay, so-
never a bride.
Kieran did not
Aw.
have the immunity idol, and Kieran's been voted off the island.
Oof.
So
True.
I'm gonna go over these rosters one last time, and then I have to step away for a second.
Yeah.
But so for the Sun Conference, we have Snorlax, Latios, Zygarde 50, Weavile, Tapu Bulu, and Mega Pinsir, and then Rhyperior and Jellicent filling out the 2 kind of bench slots. And then in the Moon Conference, we have Crocodile, Kyurem Black, Alolan Ninetales, Reuniclus, Mega Latios, Mimikyu, and Kecleon and Bronzong. So those
There
are
you go.
your season 2 All-Stars right there. Thanks for a quick note to everyone who voted. Thank you very much. It's been fun to look at the data come in. And yeah, I mean, if this is something that people like, I think I'm happy to run it every season or to keep it around because it seems like it's a kind of a fun thing
I
in
think it'd be
terms of
fun.
just
Yeah.
So it's like in season 2, you have the championship match, and the week after, you get all the coaches together as much as you can, do the All-Star match.
Yeah.
And I think it's fitting for our league where people are a little bit more cordial with each other and people we talk about people's sets, we talk about the mons that are doing well. It seems like a good fit. I've really enjoyed putting it together. I'm going to be really excited for the All-Star.
Well, and it's also because this league has done Mike and Pack have done an exceptional job of bookkeeping with this league. So
fantastic.
It's good.
Everything you go, I wonder how many kills this thing has. So you can just go right and find it. It's just right there.
So we've been talking a lot about powerful mons. Let's talk about a powerful mon that I don't think anyone has on their team, and it was never on anyone's team this season, which is our mon of the week. It's Starmie.
It was on a.
Oh, it was.
It was on a Brooklyn for a week.
Okay.
It got dropped.
Well, Starmie is the mon of the week. And Starmie, when we were talking about balanced teams earlier, Starmie works very well on a balanced team. It's got a lot it can do.
Absolutely. It has the Gen 1 move pool.
Yep.
So it has everything you could ever want. It's got rapid spin, gets recover. It's a nice bulky psychic type that can also be run offensively.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you hazard control. Gives you a little bit of, it can be bulky. You just run max HP.
Yeah.
And it's super quick, like 115 base speed.
Yeah, it's got a very respectable speed tier, especially for a bulky water. And it can learn electric type moves, so it's really good for taking out other bulky waters.
Its coverage is ridiculous.
Its coverage is
Psychic.
insane, and I'm glad I haven't had to plan for it at all this season because that coverage is frightening.
A well-prepped Starmie is annoying.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that
To say the
can
least.
be tier 1, can be tier 2, but you never know because it's not necessarily great in either.
Right.
Because it's really good value in a second tier, but at tier 1 you're not going to pick it because
there's other mods that do the roles better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can run most of the time. You're going to be running analytic on this thing. Analytic is the superior ability. Enough said about that.
On an offensive
set, yeah. True. If you're running it defensively or as a cleric, you're going to be running natural cure probably.
Because you can run because it's a spinner that doesn't really care about toxic spikes.
Yeah.
Because you switch in, you spin to get out, you're not toxic anymore. Which is one of those things which is really nice to have.
Yeah, and Starmie's got that utility, and it's got the coverage. it's I the more I look at it, the more I kind of wish I'd drafted it.
It's got the speed too, 115.
Right, yeah. Well, that I think that's one of its best features is the fact that it can be built defensively or offensively, and either way, it's still going to have pretty respectable speed. Honestly, it's like the bulky water version of Gliscor.
It does just so much.
It's like Gliscor in that way, because Gliscor you can do so many different things because its stats are in that.
Except handle ice types, which surprisingly Starmie does remarkably well.
Oh yeah, Starmie handles ice types quite well because it's got pretty decent special defense.
Don't forget reflect
I
type
think
too. That's always
I wouldn't necessarily call Starmie a bulky water.
I guess
it's got
it's
some bulk, but it doesn't
it's
feel
borderline.
like that Suicune.
I've heard of it. I've heard of people refer to it as a bulky water before, which is why
I think it can be, but
it's borderline for sure.
Functions purely.
Well,
it's
no,
not really bulky,
well, but that's
it's hard to work around.
Well, it's
true.
Well, and I'm like, it's one of it can function as a bulky water.
Yes,
like
if you need it's a balance. It's a balance mod. That's what it is.
It really is. I think if we were talking about, like, if you're looking to build a balanced team and you need that tier 2 slot filled or tier 1 depending on the league,
if you're kind of reaching in tier 1 sometimes.
But like, I mean, depending on your team comp, maybe you want that extra coverage, regardless of if it means fishing into tier 1. And the typing is quite nice on it. Psychic Water isn't too bad.
You do get Pursuit Trap, but you can. I know there's a set in UU that's Reflect type Starmie.
Yeah.
So you don't get Pursuit Trapped by Muck, so you can just Reflect type on a Dark type and then switch out.
Yeah.
So you don't get Pursuit Trapped as easily.
Yeah. And the fact that it has a way around being Pursuit Trapped can be useful. Definitely. I would say if it's tier 2, definitely consider picking it up for your balance team. And even for like just a team in any it functions on pretty well on most team comps.
It's a very good Z move user.
Yes,
it loves the addition of Z moves.
Yeah.
If you have a Z captain system, I think Z Starmie is a really nice.
Oh, if you have a
option.
Z captain system, definitely Starmie is an excellent Z captain because
Z Blizzard, Z Thunder, Z Hydro.
Oh, for sure. Although my two favorite Z captains are gonna be Honchkrow and Zoroark. Those are always
Z Honchkrow is cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
Snatch Honchkrow.
Starmie
is my favorite set ever.
Starmie as your Z captain is very difficult to plan around.
It's because of the massive coverage it has and the power it can pack on that coverage.
Such depth in its move pool.
It has that advantage of its being around for so long.
Yes.
That it's had so many abilities to get these tutor moves and to have this and that.
Well, yeah, because it's a Gen 1 Mon.
Yep.
And I felt it appropriate that we take a look at something it's not a pseudo legendary, it's not a legendary, it's not a pixie. We've looked at megas, we've looked at ultra beasts, we've looked at the pixies, and now we're just looking at.
Now we look to the stars.
Yeah, now we look to the stars.
In Starmie.
In Starmie.
Starfish.
Yeah, we look to the starfish, and it functions very well as a Flexmon or glue.
Yep.
And like
I need hazard control in rapid spin on a lot of good offensive balance teams. Hazard stacking is a very viable option. So we know to get rid of their hazards, but not have to deal with theirs.
Yeah, because that's the actually, and that's something I think we'll maybe discuss not as a full topic, but definitely as a subset of another topic. Is the strengths and weaknesses of defog versus rapid spin.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's something I feel like we need to dedicate more time to because that's very important.
Let's hop into it right now.
Please no. I'm trying to keep these episodes as short as we possibly can.
Yeah,
we're actually keeping pretty good time right now.
We're going for
excellent
BDS time here. 2:45-ish.
So, I mean, what else is there to say other than what we've already said? It's possibly one of the premier Flexmons out there.
You need Starmie to do something. It'll probably do it for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a Swiss Army knife, Starmie is a good option for that.
It's one of those Pokemon that just does so much for a team. And It's kind of one of those invaluable things that you look at and go, wow.
And it's pure hell to plan against.
For sure.
Because for most team comps, there's going to be at least one or two different viable ways to build against you with a Starmie.
It can pack some form of coverage that can hit most of your entire team. It gets Bolt Beam coverage, which hits in every team ever neutrally.
Yep. It gets Psyshock.
Yep. And Stab Psyshock more than that.
Yeah, Stab Psyshock, which is to be respected.
Too, right?
Sorry,
it gets Dazzling Gleam, doesn't it?
I think it.
Yep. It gets Z-Gleam.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it, again, a fantastic Z user.
I think it also gets... Let me scroll down here. Does it? It gets Power Gem, too.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to run Power Gem with this thing. I mean, its coverage is insane.
Uh-huh.
You can do other things with it. It gets a lot of like various kind of odd support moves. It's a decent dual screen setter even.
Yep.
I thought it gets screens too.
Yeah.
What doesn't?
It gets screens, it gets Thunder Wave, it gets Trick. And yeah, it's got a lot of things that are just very
more importantly, it has
utility.
It has good coverage without having to resort to hidden power.
You
will
yes.
I don't think there's any case where you're gonna need to pack hidden power on this thing ever.
Ooh, asterisk.
Well,
maybe it's hidden power fire.
Okay, HP fire.
Hidden power grass. Hidden power grass doesn't get a grass move. I don't think.
No, it doesn't get a grass. It does. You're right. It doesn't. Well, it gets grass knot, but that doesn't really. I mean.
Oh, it does get grass knot.
Yeah. So.
I was thinking along the lines of energy.
Yeah, it doesn't
get
it doesn't get a fire move. You're right. So yeah, HP fire would probably be. I mean, I guess if you want to be really cheeky, you could maybe run HP steel on it. If you're being really cheeky,
it gets flash cannon.
You gotta hit Diane.
Oh yeah, it gets flash cannon. Why would you do that? Good lord! What is this mon? What is this monster?
It's fantastic.
It's on my team next year.
Hell no. Okay,
I'm glad that we've sparked the fight over Starmie now.
No, wait. Does Emerson want it? I was away from the mic for a second. Emerson, it's mine.
We'll see how the draft order goes.
It learns Scald.
Might be a sorry Omega.
It learns Scald.
Omega.
Oh my god.
Situation.
Sorry Omega.
Good lord. This
is the Shaman all over again.
What is
the fight is on?
Oh,
it's gonna be who drafts Starmie first.
It learns Trick Room. You have a fast Trick Room setter.
Well, there's no such thing as a fast Trick Room setter.
Well, it's
but
no, but
Trick Room has like -7 priority.
That's true, but like it's a Trick Room setter. It's there.
Yep.
You can, and it covers fighting type weakness for Stack Attacka.
Ooh.
Starmie plus Stack Attacka.
yeah. I think, gentlemen, I believe we have just discovered a new core.
No.
That Taka all over you guys.
The whole thing with Starmie is it doesn't get any setup options besides workup, I don't think.
Yeah.
So it makes it, and its attacking stats aren't quite
right
the best. They can be walled. If it's a neutral coverage Pokemon, if you have to rely on neutral coverage as much as Starmie often can, you can wall it effectively and completely seal it.
It's kind of, it kind of reminds me power wise, like attack power wise, it reminds me very much of Sharpedo.
Yes.
Where it's got enough power to be respected as an offensive mon, but it doesn't.
If you leave it open, it can do work.
Yeah, if you use it properly, it's gonna do a lot of offensive work for your team. It's very good at if you can give it hazard support. It
loves hazard support
because it's like I said, it hits hard, just not usually hard enough.
Not quite hard enough.
Unless you have hazard support, you get those rocks up, you get those spikes down, either type of spikes. You start passing some of those. you start passing statuses around, and suddenly Starmie becomes a very dangerous threat to
Viable
everything
threat.
on your opponent's threat. And it's fast enough, like, if you really wanted to, you could run it as a cleanup sweeper with Choice Scarf. And
Like Starmie on webs is really good because it provides webs with a spinner, so you don't have to run defog.
Exactly, and you can keep those
abuse
webs
the
up.
webs very properly. You can keep your spikes, keep your hazards up.
Yeah.
You want something that wrecks. Consider Z move gravity Starmie with webs up.
Hydro
Pump Hydro Pump doesn't miss. You could run Thunder wouldn't miss, and then you can run Blizzard doesn't. You can run Hydro Pump, Thunder, Blizzard, and then Z gravity. You get a special attack boost. You get a special attack boost, my guy. So I mean, if you have webs up, you can use that, and you can cover, once again, perfect neutral coverage plus a stab Hydro Pump that hits like a truck.
Yeah.
With a +1 boost, Starmie doesn't usually get boosts at all.
No.
But when it does,
doesn't have access to Calm Mind.
But when it does, God forbid.
Yeah,
you don't want to give Starmie a boost.
Exactly. And the thing is,
there's a reason it doesn't get Nasty Plot.
Oh yeah, Nasty Plot Starmie would just be a nightmare.
Oh, dude, it would be banned probably.
Oh.
No, I mean it'd be for sure.
It would be it'd be a definite tier 1 though.
Yeah.
Like any sort, like Calm Mind or Nasty Plot would elevate this to tier 1.
But it likes to be on the end of a baton pass with something that can give it that boost. If you give baton pass a Calm Mind to Starmie from a Musharna or something like that, there's an offensive defensive psychic right there. And then let Starmie, you can just come in with a +1/+1 and start clicking buttons.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see.
For sure.
Right.
And have you guys discussed the abilities yet? The fact, I mean, you've got 2 really great abilities in Analytic and Natural Cure.
Hey, Illuminate is
no more.
I
don't need to repel
broken, guys.
Excuse me.
Yeah, man, dude. Illuminate is the most powerful ability in Draft League right now. I don't know how you haven't seen this, man. Illuminate Starmie. I've watched it in the GBA. It's cleaned house.
Yeah, Joey ran Illuminate Starmie, so now everyone's doing it. Is that how this goes? So that's literally the cycle for every other Pokemon. Is Joey uses it, and then everyone else tries to use it and realizes that Joey can make it not trash.
Yeah. But no, Analytic. But in all seriousness, Analytic and Natural Cure are 2 great abilities for the and that's part of what gives it that flexibility, really.
Absolutely.
For sure, but although there's very few situations in which Starmie will need Analytic.
Oh, it loves Analytic. Are you kidding me?
I think
because its coverage forces so many switches regardless that Analytic boosted whatever, nothing wants to come in on.
Yeah.
That's true. I was thinking like in terms of things outspeeding it.
Yeah, exactly. And things that outspeed it, I mean, are one of its bigger threats. You're using Analytic for the boost on the Switch way more often than you're using it for the boost on the year slower. And I think
because most Scarfers are gonna be able to beat Starmie.
Yeah.
Most
Scarfers,
like it. It's not if you're running it offensively, it doesn't have the bulk to take many hits.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
go ahead.
Again, that's part of why it's not tier 1. It's borderline because it does all of these roles, but they're like, depending on what your team is like, if you already have mons that can cover those same roles better, it becomes less useful.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I remember being sad when I first came into the league Discord and looked at the spreadsheet and realized that it was tier 1, because to me, it's a difficult pick over a lot of other tier 1s. A lot of tier 1s hit harder.
It's not quite on par with a lot of the tier 1s. Kind of like how Creep's not on par with tier 2. Silvali's not on par with tier 2. In the league I'm in, Silvali's tier 2. I don't know why. Well, there's some Pokemon that aren't on par with the tiers that could be in. That's why Starmie it's good tier 2, but it's not quite a tier 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and because if you compare it to the tier 1 Swiss Army knife, which is Lando T, Lando T,
or even the other water type, would you rather pick Starmie or Tapu Fini?
Right, exactly.
Or
Yeah.
another comparison that I was thinking of is like Starmie and Keldeo.
Yeah.
Or Starmie and Suicune.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a
Or
bulky water,
Starmie and
Suicune
Skarmory.
is
Wait, no, never mind.
not the same Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking at just for a pure bulky water, I need a fire resist and I need it bad.
Yeah.
You get Suicune. It just eats those hits for breakfast all day long.
Yeah,
Crocoon.
sure.
You run Crocoon, you run Vincoon.
Oh.
You can do Cancun as well.
Hey-oh. Yeah. So basically what we're getting at here, if you're
Draft
looking,
Starmie.
yeah,
That's it.
draft it. Just draft it. Like,
Unless you're Emerson, in which
Listen to
case
us.
I ask you consider the virtues of drafting Keldeo instead.
I look forward to all of the groans of just anguish when Starmie gets drafted round 1 in
Oh my god.
Yes, you
in the
win.
season 3 draft. I can't wait because I know that it's gonna get picked and it's gonna disappoint a lot of other coaches.
Dude,
Me among
yeah.
them.
I wanted Starmie, but I guess I'll settle for Tapu Koko.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it'll
Minimal
get
overall.
Well, I think because of how we're talking it up, it'll probably get drafted round 1 now.
I know. I was
mean,
pissed.
there's love talking
You
up.
picked it for our Mon of the Week, and I was just like, I've been talking to a couple people. I'm like, I want to build a team around Starmie next season.
and then
you pick it.
And then literally this
Not
week,
everyone
I'm like,
does.
hey, so I'm thinking Starmie for Mon of the Week.
Yeah, I was mad. I mean, the best I can hope for right now is like from now on out, I'm talking up every Mon that comes
As
up, and just being
just-
like, for the next 4 weeks, every Mon is going to. I'm gonna have a minute where I talk about how it's better than Starmie.
So-
There's
Make
a
the
thing
barrel.
like, man,
So-
how great is that
we'll make
tier
the
5
barrel.
Cherum?
We'll make the barrel our Mon of the Week, so we get to dip the better bulky water,
I mean-
obviously, with access to Stealth Rocks.
I mean, I
Dude,
was
it's
gonna
immune
say,
to Bibarel, immune to ghost type
If it
attacks.
was Gen 5, we
Starmie
could talk about
dies to
Riolu.
ghost type attacks. Like
clearly Bibarel is better.
All day.
Bibarel gets priority.
Obviously.
And
Stab
Swords
priority.
Dance.
And Simple Swords.
Goes to +6
I think
real quick and then
We should
fires
do
off.
RDL season 3 should be Gen 5, so that way we can do Riolu, just sweep with Riolu. Because you get that copycat priority boost and just roar once hazards are up and you just win. It's that easy.
awful. That's such a. I hate it so much.
Wait, Roar is only on. If I start raises priority moves up a level, so
Well, things like
so Roar is like
Copycat
minus
would get more
6.
going. Yes, in Gen 5, it wouldn't count the negative priority with Copycat. Because if you have Prankster Riolu, it would count the Prankster, not the Roar. So once you got hazards up, you could just go in Riolu, Copycat Roar, and just bring things in over and over and over. Because you'd priority outspeed them with Roar and just cycle them through.
And now in Gen 7, you have to deal with Dark types.
Yeah, as a in wait, what's this? Yeah, I mean that got banned pretty quickly, and also it's just a boring strategy. You sit there and click roar, or you click copycat over and
Yeah,
over again.
it kind of reminds me of I think it was called 24 Rhinos. It was a deck in Magic the Gathering that it was basically they took a card called Siege Rhino, and the whole strategy of the deck was just to make a bunch of Siege Rhinos and dirt out and basically it was basically the Magic the Gathering deck equivalent of just getting a bigger
Like
club.
Fun Bro?
Of just getting a bigger club. That was the
Oh
idea.
jeez.
It was like you had a club and you're like, I'm just gonna pick up another club and beat
So-
you with both of them.
So are we done on Starmie?
I
Or
think
could
We're
should we
never
talk
done
about-
on Starmie.
I mean, I think.
We should talk about how it
Not
has
until
recover,
season 3
dude.
draft. We're not.
Oh
we're not
yeah,
done.
it does. It does have recover. Oh
Dude,
my
you can run a
God.
Life Orb set
Yep.
that recovers off damage.
Ugh.
You can run a bulky screen set that recovers off damage and runs on like Scald.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude, this thing is dope. I'm so glad I'm getting it next season.
I'm so glad that you're talking it up so much so that everyone wants to draft it next season.
Dude, they're I mean, it's
I look
alright.
forward to getting the tier 2 of my choice because everyone's gonna be fighting over Starmie.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I might actually get Ferrothorn. I might
Don't
actually get Ferrothorn next season.
Dude, yeah.
let Cossack get Ferrothorn.
I would be so proud.
Please let me get Ferrothorn. But so that's it for today's episode. You can check these out in the YouTube channel. That's where I'm posting them now. I plan on getting them up on SoundCloud. The problem is I have to get like file converter software due to the way that I record these. So that's still in the works, but when it gets there, I will be sure to let everyone know and put a link to that in the descriptions of all the episodes. Because it turns out sometimes if you don't have the proper software, converting video to straight up audio is kind of aggravating. Yeah. So with that, don't want to say bombshell, but with that piece of information, future content to look forward to.
With that starfish.
Yeah, with that starfish, we will move on, and we will see you next week. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I haven't been saying that, and I feel like I should have been. Also, if you subscribe, click that notification bell so you know when we drop these. I do keep a very regular schedule of dropping these. I schedule them for for noon Eastern Standard Time the day after we record these. So we're recording this on a Sunday, so it'll be on Monday. So it'll usually be Sunday or Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully your draft league goes well. If you have any questions or topics, leave them in the comments below. Like if you have any suggested topics, I'm open to suggestions for topics, especially general information topics, things that you want to ask us about. Put them in the comments. I'll take a look and we'll cherry pick the best ones and use those for future episodes. And with that, we'll see you next week. Catch those Pokemon, breed those Pokemon, get those EV spreads, maximum efficiency.
Perfect.
We'll see you.
And bring the rock.
And yeah, and bring rocks.
Bring that heat-proof Bronzong by accident.
Do it.
Don't bring Overgrow Serp. Don't bring Overgrow Serp.
Behind the sub, Leaf Storm. Oh no.
All right. We'll see you next week. Peace.
All right.